Hello, how's it going, everybody? I am here to do like a little quick interview with my new purchase, the Shadow System. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do like a little comparison between the Shadow System and the Glock 19 Gen 5. So first off, right off the bat, as you guys can see, comes with a hard case for the Glock, comes with like this nifty little carry case, which I kind of like that a lot. And then obviously when you get your new firearm from Glock, you know, they give you, your 3 magazines with your little quick speed reloader kind of deal, your BB tails. And then also my Glock 19 Gen 5 is optic ready. So you get your adapter plates, you get those. And then, your not ops manual, but your little safety manual. So that's what the Glock gives you. Totally fine if that's what you like, especially with these, beaver tails. I don't necessarily really care for those, but that's what the Glock gives you right off the box, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go with the Shadow System right off the bat. As you can tell, carry bag. I do like that. So if I just want to go straight to the range with just one gun, I could take this guy with me rather than just lugging this thing. Or, like I already have, get a range bag. Like most of you guys probably already have a range bag. But if you don't, and this is your first firearm, and this is what you first get, this is what you're going to get. So let's dive into the Shadow System bag. So as we jump in here, right off the bat, you get 2 magazines. These guys are P-Mags. They're 15s. Both guns, by the way, they're both 15 plus 1 guns. They're basically a 19 style. So you get 2 P-Mags, great mags. Everybody has mixed emotions about the P-Mags compared to the Glock mags. We all know Glock is, good with their magazines and whatnot. So then you come over here, little Velcro pouch. This is where your gun will go in. You get your little adapters or screws, I would say, that they give you. And then there's the top of the plate right there. That would be right on top of the slide. Your manual, all that kind of regular stuff that you would typically get, your lock. That's what they would get. But yeah, you get this nice nifty little pouch right here. I'm going to end up taking all this stuff out here. So it's just kind of just flopping around like a fish. But yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of some of this stuff out of here. So if I go to the range, I could just stick my MR920 in here. And that's the thing too. The Shadow System I got is the MR920, not the MR920L or the DR or XR. I got the MR920 Elite. You guys are going to be in for a treat for that. It's a nice one. But yeah, this is what you get from Shadow Systems. I like this a lot. Very much. That's a win for me. Very much appreciate that. That's really good. So now we're going to come over here to what you guys are looking for. So right here, it's the Shadow System MR920. By the way, I'm going to show clear. No magazine in the gun, nothing in the chamber. And then same with the Glock. No mag, nothing in the chamber. All right, so as you can tell, they're different. A lot different, but still somewhat the same. They basically have the exact same about barrel length and everything. It's basically just a Glock clone, but the difference is that this is a Gen 5. You got your grip that's a little bit lower, or not lower, but shorter compared to the Shadow. So if we do an overlap of the two, you can see that the Shadow is just slightly longer, just a little bit, but not too much. And then also to go along with this too, the difference is the serrations on the front and the back. So you got your front serrations, your back serrations. They're a lot different. Shadow decided to do it towards the shooter, so it makes it a lot easier to get your fingers on there and grip it. Also too, if you look at the top of the slide, it's just straight flat, right? Come over here with the Shadow, you get top serrations. And they are awesome, especially if you're a press checker like myself. Great addition to there. And then also, as you can tell too, you just got your regular barrel. Just a basic Glock furniture barrel. Foundation. And then shadows, you get a fluted one. That's real nice. And then plus they have different types of the MR920. You can get one just like this, the Elite Edition, or you just go with the Combat or the standard one. It'll just be coming, it'll come just like this. The only difference is you'll just be getting a black barrel. That's the only difference. Now, as you go back up the top on the slide, you know, there's your cutout right here for your optic as well. So those are the adapter plates I was talking about. So this is optic ready. So you can put an optic on here if you want. And then there's your sights. There's your sights right there. It's not the greatest sights ever. Everybody always switches these guys out. I never personally got to the chance to change out the front sights or the rear sights. I just never got to it. And then obviously you got your trigger. You know, you got your nice little Glock trigger that everybody also changes out as well. And you're looking at about a 4.5, 5 pound trigger on this. Whereas the Shadow system, theirs is a little bit more advanced. You can see the difference right there. They do, of course, have, you know, your little safety right there, which it doesn't bother me. I don't mind it. But this trigger is actually lighter than this one. Like I said, this is coming out like possibly about 4.5, 5 pounds. I don't have a poundage pulley to really verify that for you guys. And then this one feels lighter, so I'm going to go with about maybe a 4.5, give or take. And then also a big difference as well, other than, you know, your trigger, your serrations, and your optics readies, but also the texturing of the shadows compared to the Glock. Everybody stipples these. Everybody always ends up changing them to a polymer lower 80, you know, but this is just your, you know, your standard polymer lower, just like this is. But they decided to kind of go with almost a polymer 80 lower style look. And man, does that look nice, especially with their little logo. But yeah, very grippy, very nice. I do like that. And also too, they have like this little ramp right here for your thumb to sit on. So when you're presenting outward, you know, you got your grip here. There's a little ledge. See if you guys can see that. See that little ledge right there? So your thumb gets right up on there. Real nice. And then the same thing on this side, but it doesn't really have the ramp per se. Well, actually it does. It does have that little ramp. Just in case if you're a left-handed shooter. I'm a right-handed shooter, so my thumb would be sitting right here. Very nice. It helps with the recoil mitigation. Do love that a lot. It's really nice. I do like that. Whereas the Glock, they don't have that. It's just flat. That's all it is. It's just flat. Even on this side, it's just flat. That's all it is. It's just flat. And then to move on, you're going to look at the magazine well right here. The Gen 5s, they kind of fluted it out a little bit. If you can see that, it just kind of flutes out a little bit, which kind of makes it a little bit easier to reload. Makes it a little bit easier. Just a slight bit, but not too much. And then you come over here to the Shadow. Out of the box, they are going to give you a mag well. And what's nice is that this little pin right here, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but right there, that little pin, that's what keeps it in there. And then you got your pin here for the back straps. So right off the bat, you're going to get a nice mag well. That is really nice, and it reloads effortlessly. I love it, and it feels real nice. But now we're going to go on the back straps. This is a back strap. They give you also 2 other back straps for this Shadow, which from what my understanding is that those back straps help with the angle of your presentation when you're shooting at the range and training. Those back straps will help you change the angle. So if you're like a 1911 style kind of guy, they have a strap in there that I believe it might be the smaller one that would give it a more 1911 feel. And then they have the medium one, which is just, you know, your Glock kind of feel. And then they give it a more fatter back strap that would essentially, I would think maybe like a SIG or maybe possibly something more aggressive angle. It's just, it depends on your preference of your angle is the back strap you're going to be presenting on. Whereas these guys, like I said, let's go back in the box right here. These is all what they give you is your back, is your beaver tails. And those just go slapping right on the back. And all it does is just extend more of your grip this way. It just makes it fatter. That's all it does. Whereas the Shadow, like I said, let me pull those guys out for you so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. So you guys aren't just aimlessly trying to figure it out for yourself. But there you go. There's those straps, those back straps. See how they got a smaller one and then they kind of have a fattier one? That's what they're talking about. Oh, and also too, they give you a little punch that comes with your Shadow. So it makes it easier to take these things off and do whatever you need to do. They give you a punch for it. That's awesome. They give you a punch. Whereas these guys, your punch is this little plastic thing. And if these things are real tight in here, you can probably eventually break these. I personally haven't broken it yet, thankfully. But, ew. So, to go along with the Shadow system and the Glock comparison here, it's the exact same thing. It's going to perform the same thing. They're both 9mm. But we're going to go up top, on top of the slide like we were just discussing a little bit ago. So, you get your suppressed high sights, which are really nice. You get your front tritium night front sight, which is really nice, with a blacked out rear. Also, too, if you're wondering, I am rocking the Holosun, if you guys can see that, the Holosun HS 407CX2. This is a 2 MOA dot, very highly recommended by a normal majority of the people. Not normal people, but majority of people that I've talked to, they've always recommended this. And then it also has the solar panel at top, which is very nice because then if your battery dies, you got your solar panel to keep it rocking and rolling. But what's really nice about the Holosun compared to a lot of the optics is that little tray right there. The Holosun will give you a tool to unlock that tray right there, and then when you unlock that tray, it'll just come out and there's your battery. You just replace it. You don't have to take your optic off to replace the battery. Big win to Holosun. Love that. And then the light. I'm rocking the Olight PL3R Valkyrie. I love the push pad on here. 1500 looms. It's a great one. It also has your ability to do strobe. See? Like that. So this is a nice little optic and then light. Great combo. Love it. These will go onto here. Obviously, your light will be able to go fitting onto here, and then your optic, but you have to use adapter plates. So, going with the optics and the adapter plates, if you look closely at the Glock, there's your ejector right there. See how it's just kind of sitting right there? And then you come over here to Shadow and look at their ejector. Notice the difference. Look at the difference here. They don't really look different, but the thing is, it's kind of hard to see in the camera. Their ejectors in the normal place where it always would be with any other semi-automatic pistol. Plain and simple, that's where they would be. Even with SIG, it would be in the exact same spot. The difference is between this is that the ejector is so far back that you have to use adapter plates, because if you use your screws to put your optic on here, you're going to put that screw and that's going to interfere with your ejector. So what Shadow decided to do is that they decided to move their ejector forward and then eliminate the adapter plate issue that everybody freaking has with all the guns in the world of Glock. They get rid of all that, which basically means that you can put optics on here, which on their website, they have a chart of all optics that are the popular ones, at least. And they give you a chart of which ones will fit the gun that you want. So if you want the DR or the XR, they have a chart for that. MR as well. And then CR, the little compact, that's basically the variant of the Glock 43. They have that as well. So with them moving that ejector forward, you are now able to use the screws basically almost all the way down into the slide, which secures it. And then also, I don't know if you notice with a lot of Glocks, but when you put the adapter place on, you put your optic, you have a lot of spacing in between your optic and your back sight or wherever you're putting the optic on. It just kind of looks like there's some empty spaces on some of the optics that you put on. Like I had the 6 Hour Romeo 0 6 MOA. That guy was tiny on here. I had a lot of space in there. MR, Shadow System. What they did is kind of hard to see, but you see that little wedge right back there? That's what they gave me. They give you all kinds of wedges for whatever optic you're using. They give you screws and they give you little wedges. You go off that chart, basing off of your optic that you're using, they'll give you that wedge. So it would either go in the front or in the back, and then you have to use their screws. If you try using the screws on the optic that you get, it's not going to work because they use a different style screws that work with their guns, that the screws that come with your optic, it's not going to work. So they give you screws to use for your optic that will work and sit in their guns. Great. That's a great bonus. And then without the adapter plates, you are now co-witness with your sights. That's also a huge bonus. These guys, you get your optic, you have to zero it in because of that adapter plate. I mean, yeah, some of these Holosuns, they claim that they're zeroed in at, out to 25 yards. But still, you have to put an adapter plate, and then you might have to finick it with it to get it to zero in, which I had to do with my 6-hour. So that's a great, also awesome bonus that the Shadow system did with that. Great bonus. And then also, too, to continue on with the slide, they have this little ports on the sides right here, which some of their variants of their guns, they may not have that. So if you're looking for something like this, make sure you get an Elite Edition or a Combat, because I believe with the Combat, they do have the flute part. So look for that. If you don't care for the flute or the openings right here on the slides, you can just go for like a regular one. Personally, for me, I wanted that. It looked nice. A lot of the guns already come with a fluted barrel, but they are also just coming out with a Foundation series, which the Foundation series, their barrels are just going to look like this, which are nice. Don't get me wrong. They look nice. They just look like this, just with a regular barrel. They're nice. Let me get that out of the way. But Shadow System has just literally upped their game in the production of Glock clones. In my personal opinion, this thing is awesome. This is literally what I would turn this guy into. But I'll be spending so much money trying to get this thing to look like this. A lot of money. Whereas I could just have gotten this out of the box to begin with. I just wish I found Shadow System a lot sooner when I was going to buy this. Because, ew. Especially this trigger. This trigger, gross. I wanted to change this trigger so freaking bad. It's gross. I'm not saying that the Shadow System trigger is any better. It is lighter. It is a little bit more crisp. The resets, to me, I feel like the reset on the Shadow is a lot better than, your Glock. That's just my personal opinion. And we all know the reset on Glocks, so I'm not even going to go into that. Unless you want me to, then I'll just do that in a later video. I do want to do a range video on these guys, do a little comparison between the two of them so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then let's also talk about weight. This guy, without any magazine, no rounds, no optic, no light, this thing's got a little bit of a weight. I mean, yeah, it's a Glock. Every gun's going to have some weight. But here's the trick. Here's the fun thing about this, is that with all this being bare as it is, I picked this guy up with all this on here, with my optic, with my light. The weight and feel of this, weight-wise, feels exact same as this without any of that crap on. Without it. This feels the same as this, but with my light and an optic. So this is obviously way lighter, because if you can tell, there's a lot less weight on this slide and on the gun itself. So there's the difference between the Glocks and the Shadow Systems. I can't wait to take this guy out to the range and do a little comparison. I hope that you guys enjoy this. It's my first video, so any tips or pointers will be very much appreciated. But yeah, see, what else am I missing on this guy? I don't think I'm missing anything here, but yeah. If you guys got any points and tips or anything, that'll be awesome. Oh, also too, this video is not sponsored by Shadow System or Glock. Not sponsored by Shadow System or Glock or anything. But Shadow System did come out with another series of the exact same gun. The only difference is that it's a MR920P. What's the difference, you may ask? The difference is that instead of just a flat barrel or a threaded barrel, What they decided to do is they, out of the box for an extra, like, I don't know, $200 to $300, I think it's $200, you're going to get a compensator on the end. That's the difference with the MR920P, XRP, and CRP. That's the difference between the two. Now, I know Glock just recently sent out a new release, but I honestly didn't even look at it. It's not even in the picture. It's not even relevant to me because now I have this. So there we go. There we have it. I appreciate you guys, and you guys stay safe, and let me know what else you guys want me to do a review on. Have a good one.